Hi all, Mark Longman here. Wanted to have a chat to you today, the rule of threes, and talk about how the rule of threes is a really powerful tool and how you can use it to examine things in your own life, when you're setting goals or when you're just examining your options and opportunities before you, or if you're using this with clients. It's a great way to have a conversation using the rule of threes. So the rule of threes is something essentially, especially in Western society, that we have grown up with from kids. So if you think back to the fairy tales or kid stories that we grew up with. So if I were to ask you, give me some that start with three, generally the answers I get are, the three blind mice, Goldilocks and the three bears, the three little pigs, and I'll go this further. Okay, how many bowls of porridge were there in the Goldilocks story? Three. How many chairs? Three. The three musketeers. There's these threes that have come through. So it's quite easy for our brains to process something in threes because we're used to that as a number. So, for example, if I'm trying to brainstorm some ideas, it's a lot easier if I were to ask you, hey, can you come up with the three things that you're really sort of struggling with or have concerns with at the moment? It's something that's fairly easy for you to come through and work out. Conversely, if I asked you to come up with four or five, it's a little bit more difficult. We've got to think a bit longer, and we can sometimes, when I've worked with people, and say, hey, come up with four or five things here, and they really get stuck after three. So if we use the rule of threes in our approach, it's an easier way to come up with solutions. What would be the top three things that would help you get through this? What's three things you're really struggling with at the moment? If we were to put some actions in place, what would be the top three things you could think of? So this is the rule of threes. We can also reframe it a little bit as well. So still using the rule of three concept, but using perhaps a time-based approach. So for instance, if I'm doing an exploration session with someone and I want to look at sort of where they've come from, where they think they are, and where they want to go through. We've got three distinct stages here. So, and the best way to look at this is through a time-based approach, which is simply past, present, future. So, where were you? Where are you now, and where is it that you're wanting to be or to get to? So using that time-based approach there is a really great way of exploring sort of where your clients have come from, where they are now, the struggles they're actually facing, and where they're wanting to go, or even yourself, if you're exploring stuff with yourself. Okay, so what was happening, what is happening for you now, and what is it that you want to see happening? So it's that same rule of threes approach, but in this really easy to sort of use time-based concept of past, present, future. So look, I think it's a pretty easy strategy to use, and certainly from a coaching point of view, one that allows us to really have a great exploration, a great conversation with clients or with ourselves. And certainly if we're trying to come up with ideas, we're trying to look at the issues and the problems, start thinking about them in threes, using the rule of threes. So yeah, look, give it a try, and hopefully it can help you to come up with some great ideas, some great creative ideas, and some really good solutions moving forward.